Hello, hello, everybody. It is Saturday night. Surprise. I have decided to hop on with my very good friend, Lynn Dixon, because she is a expert relationship coach. And who doesn't need coaching in the areas of relationships, right? If you are sick of the toxic cycle of relationships, you need to tune in. If you want to talk about sex, you need to tune in. We were talking about healthy things, right? What that looks like, what that doesn't look like. So make sure you guys are watching whenever you if you are here and you are in recovery, I want you to put where you are, what your recovery date is. If you're just watching, then tell us where you are watching from. And anytime, if you guys have any questions or anything, you can put them in the chat. But me and Lynn are just going to get to it. Lynn, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. And first of all, I need to correct Jamie because I am not a self-proclaimed expert. No way. I don't even know where that word came from. So, Jamie, you are in big trouble for that. I am not an expert on anything. So I have an opinion. But my opinion doesn't always mean, anything. So anyway, I do thank you so much, Jamie, for this opportunity to appear live with you and to get to know the community out here and just to find out what's going on with everyone. And I didn't even know you were going to ask me to talk about sex. And the funny thing about it is that no one will let me talk about it. I teach several classes around the community, and the co-facilitators usually say, Lynn, you're not allowed to talk about this subject because you say too much. I actually have a platform now, right now. I'm so excited that I get to talk about it. I get to talk about relationships and what a healthy sex life looks like. But I do hope we get to talk about some other things too.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I just know that we share a love for that topic. Yeah. So, and let's just tell everybody, because okay, you might not think that you're an expert, but let me tell you how I met Lynn is she was actually a facilitator of an amazing class that I took. It was a marriage class. And it went through so many things, and she just really just the way she explained things was so helpful. And also she works for a recovery facility, also teaching healthy relationships group, right? Is that what it is?
Yes, on codependency. Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, and also you have some some experience in teaching about parenting also.
Yes. Have a few other irons in the fire as well. Very privileged to be able to teach. I've been teaching parenting classes since 2019. And, some people say, I don't want to take a parenting class. I don't even like kids, or I'm not never going to have kids, or, I don't need any advice. I got this. But a parenting class, folks, just so you know, a parenting class is not just about parenting. It is about how you became who you are in your parenting, how you were raised, how you were parented. And one of the greatest things about this class is that the light bulb will come on, and you'll just like be amazed. All of a sudden you go, that's why I do what I do. I had no idea. And then also to realize that we do not have to raise our children like we were raised. And one other thing, Jamie, if I may say, is that, sometimes we're so angry and we're so bitter and resentful towards our parents for how they raised us. But when we can look back and see how maybe they were raised, we can give them a little bit of grace and credit for doing a better job with us than maybe perhaps was done for them. So in everything that I do or anything that I talk about, I just want to always focus on grace, because I believe in the mighty, powerful grace of God, my Father, my Savior, my Lord. And so through him, we can have the healthy relationships that we desire to have in our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, for people in recovery, I can say for me specifically, I used relationships as alcoholically and addictively as I used drugs. So, that led me down the road to, some very to staying in relationships that I should not have stayed in, due to, these addictive tendencies that came through codependency, and the trauma bonds of the whole addiction lifestyle, and also, like we were talking about the other night, I was raised in a household where, my parents' relationship was what I saw, that was what love was. And that was not exactly always healthy.
That's right. That's right. And we usually think, our parents' relationship is perfect when we're little. And sometimes we model our own relationships after our parents' relationship. And then later on, we discover that, hey, that wasn't necessarily the right thing. And I know that you had shared with me some that about your parents, and that you discovered that theirs was an abusive relationship, and in several different ways. And then you found yourself, in different relationships that you felt dependent on them. And I think a lot of times our dependency is the fear of being left alone, the fear of being rejected. And so sometimes we put up with things that we really shouldn't, because we're valuable. We're valuable, and we deserve the best, and we deserve to be the best for someone else. And I think that healthy relationships consist of mutual partnership, mutual friendship, and not being one side or the other.
Absolutely. And there are some warning signs to look out for. I just want to say, hold on now. I found something that was really awesome here, and it was called the Duluth Power and Control Wheel.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? You're familiar with that, I'm sure.
Might be familiar, yeah, just a little, but yes. I noticed too that you had posted that on one of your posts. And what can you just tell me a little bit about what opened your eyes about that wheel, and that maybe the things that you discovered, someone else here in the audience tonight can relate to that, and then we can maybe direct our conversation a little bit more specifically.
Yes. So reading the way that the power and control wheel, I have it on my phone right here, is broken up, is there are, different kinds of like abuse that I was not aware of. There is financial abuse, and there is emotional abuse, and using different things to kind of have like power and control in the relationship that maybe you might not realize is going on. You may not realize that that is abuse. And with it being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I think that this is a perfect time to bring it up. And so I just want to kind of bring this to some people's attention, because I did not realize that some of these things were abuse. And so one of the ones we're talking about, using emotional abuse, which includes putting him or her down, making him or her feel bad about themselves, calling him or her names, making him or her think that they are crazy, playing mind games, humiliating them, and making them feel guilty.
Yes, absolutely. And I would call those things that you listed very unhealthy. That's not a healthy relationship. It's like ding, 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 bingo. If you're doing it, if they're doing it, it's not healthy, because a healthy relationship should consist of respect for each other, kindness, gentleness. You want the best for your partner. You want the best. And so a lot of times a healthy relationship has to do with choosing your words carefully, to think about your own emotions, how you're feeling right now. If you need a timeout, it's okay. Say, honey, I have a few things on my mind. I'm not in a place right now where I feel like I can respond positively to you right now, and I just need like a little break. I need like a little 15-minute break. Or hubby comes in from work and he's dirty, he's grouchy, he's hungry, and you want to talk to him about something, with the kids, or about this bill came, I had no idea. And he's not in the frame of mind. And so a healthy relationship has to do with picking the right times, and being respectful of not of that. Not just wanting what you want, not just wanting your way, wanting to say your piece, but loving that partner enough that you're willing to sacrifice, because it's a lot about sacrifice. So when you talked about the things such as you were talking about blame and humiliation and embarrassment, accusations. So I thought of sarcasm. We can interpret sarcasm in so many ways, and just the way somebody says something, especially our partner says something, can bruise us, can wound us deeply, and it takes several. Like if you make a negative comment to the one that you love, it's going to take that person a little bit for them to trust you again, if that makes sense. Even just a comment, just something that's like, well, I'm going to hold back for a little bit. I'm not sharing my feelings because you stomp all over them when I put them out there. So I'm going to hold back a little bit. So we want to, another thing too, is that, we should never make fun of our partner in or embarrass them in front of anyone else. We should never do that. One thing, I laugh and I tell the people that I teach in classes, I say, I hear my old man, my old lady, and just those terms are disrespectful in themselves. Or if you complain about the old bag or whatever, you're actually showing your foolishness in choosing that person, because you're obviously not happy with that person and that was your choice. So, we're always putting the blame on the other person without accepting responsibility of what we're carrying in this relationship.
Absolutely. And I know, like, for people in recovery, it's kind of twofold, because we have a lot of trauma, so we can be like easily triggered. But also, if you have worked a recovery program of any sort, any kind of 12-step program, we go through things that are like, we go through these steps where we're able to look at our part in things. So we're able to be like, oh man, I when I said that, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, or whatever, right? But people who have maybe not worked at a recovery program may not know how to look at themselves and be like self-aware. Some people just aren't self-aware.
Jamie, I just want to stop you just a moment. I'm noticing some of the comments. Y'all excuse me for my lifesaver, because I got to tickle my throat. I'm noticing some of the comments here, and I noticed Ron, I just want to say, talking about, my heart goes out to you, Ron. My heart goes out to you, because from what you're saying, it sounds like you feel like you've had all the love and happiness that you can stand for the rest of your life. And, that makes me sad, because you deserve more than that. You deserve to have a partnership, a friendship that's mutually respectful, that's someone that you can deeply care for. I love that penguins pick a partner and they stay together for life. If something happens to their partner, they don't pick another penguin. I love that amount of, or that level of commitment. And can you imagine that feeling of never, ever, ever wanting to be with anyone else ever? And so, and I just want to say that when I see some of these comments, it does break my heart, because we should never, the people that we love, the people that we choose to be with us, we should treat them with deep respect. I don't even know how I can say it any better. Thank you. Just getting back to what you were saying as well.
And this, I know that there is the term that has been being used like so loosely all over the internet is narcissism.
Yes.
Narcissistic relationships. Which, I did my research on narcissistic stuff, right? I watched podcasts and everything, even looking at some of these, things in this power and control wheel. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that was that guy. That was that guy. That was that guy. But but that's a little bit of Jamie too.
Yeah. Yeah. We're never free of everything. We can put all the blame we want to on someone else and not face the reality of who we really are. But we're not doing ourselves any favor. In order to have the right partner, we need to be the right partner.
Right.
We need to look in the mirror, and we need to assess who we are. And I'm finding that the older that I get, my flaws are, bigger and bolder. And I can look back and I see some mistakes that I've made in my relationships that I have had. So just in saying that, we need to really focus on our own learning about ourselves, I'm a big believer in self-care. You really can't be your best self if you're not taking care of yourself, for one thing. You need to feel good about yourself as well and be healthy in many, many ways. But narcissism, yes. Jamie, just share a little bit about what you were saying, that you recognize a little bit of that in yourself.
Oh, in myself, just like things. Okay, I'll be.
I'm sorry, you might not want to.
I'm gonna show you a little bit of the crazy Jamie that's inside here. So I was listening to, I think it's Dr. Ruma. Have you heard of her?
No.
She's amazing. Rima something. So she's awesome. She has a like amazing podcast on narcissism. And so she was telling this story about this woman who was in this crazy abusive relationship. I mean, she's talking about the guy being absolutely like psychotic, and the things that he did and turning her kids against her and like all these things. He was, truly like diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder. And so they took like a little separation, where he was she was staying at her parents or something down the road, and she had gone, a friend from like high school or something had messaged her and said like, hey, do you want to meet me for a drink? Da, da, da. And she's like, look, I'm married, but we can meet and we can, have a drink and talk. That's cool. Just want you to know. Right. And that somehow the husband had found the message, and she came home, and he had like cleaned out like the bedroom and the closet. And in the closet, she opened the closet door, and he had made this like shrine with this like picture of the guy or something, and like wrote this note as if it was from the guy or from her to the guy, like, oh, I love you so much, I want to be with you forever, like da, 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 you know what I mean? And and there was like a candle lit, and I was like, ooh, that's crazy. I would probably do something like that. Got my man going out to drink.
It's so creepy to me.
I know, so creepy. That's my crazy brain. But you know what I'm saying? Just being able to like, just being able to like relate about some things, like, some things about like maybe like controlling things or withholding affection or withholding love or holding grudges.
Yes.
I mean, all different, really, going through your partner's phone all the time and things like that.
So we're talking a lot right now, that some hot topics for me, which is, trust. You've got to have trust. You've got to trust your partner. I would never, ever, and people may not agree with me, I'm sharing my own opinion here. I have that freedom to do that. I would never, ever, let me say this, never again in a relationship make it so that my partner does not trust that what I say is what I mean, and what I mean is what I say, and what I do is what I do. And because once you start destroying that trust, it's very hard to get it back. And I mean, trust is what we build that relationship. It's one of the foundation stuff, one of the layers of the foundation of that relationship. There's so many things making that commitment, making that level of trust, because I want to be able to trust him. I want to be able to trust him when he's with someone else. So he needs to be able to trust me when I say where I'm going. I'm just keeping up with each other. Those little texts throughout the day. I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. My mind is on you. My heart is on you. There's my heart is not on anyone else. So maybe I'm old fashioned. You can call me a little old fashioned, but I'm a little bit sensitive about, I'll go out for a drink with you. No, I shouldn't maybe worry about what other people think when they see me, but I need to worry about what other people think, because if your husband finds out, and then you try to back it up and say, well, really what happened? No, be forthright with it in the beginning. Hey, you might be so-and-so. So-and-so has some things on their heart. Do you want to come with us, or is it okay with you if I go? And it's not asking permission. It's being courteous and being respectful and being polite. And another thing that goes into that as well is forgiveness. When we do make blunders, when we do mess up, because believe me, we're going to. You can't be together for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and not make a mistake and not but to be able to be honest and say, you know what, I messed up. I messed up. And I'm counting on you to forgive me and whatever I can do to show you that I'm really, really committed to you. Now, I'd love to see the chats here because some people may think, no, that's way off base. Shit, that's a crazy lady you got on your show, Jamie. They may feel that way, but I'm just saying I'm coming from the level of where you start to build a relationship and those foundation cornerstones, so to speak, of that relationship. Narcissism, as you're talking about, is like, they're lucky to be with me. They're lucky they have me, and they better serve and worship me, and they better put me on a pedestal. They better put me first, and everything they do ought to revolve around me. That's not a healthy relationship because that's not a mutually bonding. We do that for each other, not just one for the other.
Right. And let's talk about like some dangerous ones over here.
Let me say hello to my cousin. I see my cousins on there. Hey, Bruce. Thank you, Bruce, for being here. Appreciate that. All of you too. Oh, my daughter, I have my surrogate daughter who decided to move in with us when she was in college and eat the groceries out of my refrigerator. She, would come in there, and if I cleaned out the refrigerator, this is Brandy here, she would be very upset if like something was gone that she was planning on eating when she came back. So, hello, thank you for being here with us.
So let's talk about some dangerous ones here. Not just red flags, but let's talk about using intimidation.
Okay, yeah, big one.
Making him or her afraid by using looks, actions, or gestures. Smashing things. Destroying their property. Abusing pets. Displaying weapons.
Oh boy. Okay. We'll talk about the first one, intimidation. If you're on that receiving end of intimidation, if you're afraid, if you're fearful, if you're afraid to, I call it, you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. You feel like you're having to keep that other person happy. You feel like they're gonna crack if things are not calm all the time. If you're not keeping them up, that is an exhausting way to live. It's just an exhausting way to live. I know a little bit about that, and it causes so much fear, self-doubt. It causes you to lose a lot of your own self-worth, really. Your self-esteem will hit an all-time low. To be intimidated by someone, you talk about smashing things, breaking things, and when they come close to your head, or they're intended, they're not going to hit you, but you feel like they could have hit you, and they're warning you, I can hit you. And that's like, I've got you under my thumb, so you better stay right there, right? You better stay right there. Don't you move. And it can work both ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man doing this to a woman. It can be a woman doing this to a man. So, we need to open our eyes and realize this is not healthy. And, nip it in the bud. That's one of the problems, is that a lot of times we just put up with things and we make that person think that we're okay with it. When we need to say, I don't know what's going on here. Why you think you can treat me like that? But no, I will not be treated like that. I will not. So I'll just tell a little bit about my story. Not that anybody really wants to know, but I will tell you. Yes. Hey TJ, love you. I have a lot of daughters and sons through the recovery program, the people that I teach, parents and all. And I don't know why they love me, because I feel like I'm just his old grandma or something, but I just really appreciate that they do love me. I'm not pierced up or tattooed or anything, but they still love me, and I appreciate that. But anyway, so just getting back to just talking about knowing a little bit about how that feels. I'm trying to think what I was going to say. I'm so sorry. Okay, so my late husband, I was married for 27 and a half years. I went from my dad was a preacher. And then I dated a little bit, not a whole lot. Dad was very protective. I was firstborn. Wanted to please my dad. I was a daddy pleaser. Wanted to please my daddy. My daddy was a preacher, so we kind of lived in the glass house, where everybody, gave us their opinion about what they thought, and we felt like my sister and I felt like we had to, we had to be perfect. We really had to be perfect. We felt that a lot. And I tried. I mean, I've lived with such fear of disappointing my family. I was, I got married at 23 and was a virgin. And I wanted to be a virgin. It was a close call a couple of times, but I had that in my heart. You want to talk about sex? Okay, I'll talk about it a little bit. I had that in my heart. I wanted to do that. That was a goal for me as a Christian, as a believer. I wanted to present myself to my husband like a gift that he could open up, and nobody else had ever touched it or opened it or anything. So that was a goal that I had. That was so wonderful. And if any of you now feel like, hey, I want to do that, it's worth it. It really is worth it. But just to say this, I went from my daddy's house. I went to college, came right back when I graduated, went right back home for 2 years because my dad felt like he was very old fashioned. He felt like, I'm responsible for you till the day you walk down that aisle, and you have to live under my roof. Well, I felt like I had to too, but because I wanted to be obedient to my father, and I felt like, if I'm not, I might not do well in this world if I'm not. So my sister, she moved out when she was like 19, I think, and she felt like, my sister's on there. I see her there. She moved out, and she tells me, I said, well, I don't know how you did that because I couldn't. Daddy wouldn't let me. She goes, how was your fault? You had your own mind. You could have done what you wanted to. But there you see, I was a little bit afraid to be a disappointment, to my family. Well, so I did get married, and I married a preacher. So I married a preacher. I always worked for preachers, So the world that I'm in now is not the world that I lived in before. I was a preacher's wife, and not the typical. Everybody always told me I was not the typical preacher's wife, which I don't really know what they meant by that, except that maybe I didn't have a bun and a long dress. I don't know, but wasn't a typical preacher's wife. But going from there, I was a submissive, very submissive wife. And I'm not saying that my husband was unkind in any way. He wasn't unkind, but it was just the role, right? It's just the roles that we held. And I always had the idea that if we cannot come to a decision together, which most of our decisions we came to together, financial, whatever it might be, raising our child, whatever. If we couldn't agree, then I would say to him, you're responsible for our home. You make the decision, and I'm going to follow you because that's what I believe. So, and that worked for us. He passed away, though. He got cancer, and he passed away. I was 50 when he died. And I began to get this new sense of, I was a person for the first time by myself. I'd never lived by myself. I went from college with roommates back home, then to my husband. And I got a little bit of independence, and it really kind of felt good. It was scary, but it felt good. And I made some decisions on my own. And then that's when I did realize that he and I both had some areas of our partnership where we did control each other, So, and I can go through that and into that another time, but my eyes began to open up, and I began to realize that I can make decisions too, and they're okay, and they're good. So when I did eventually remarry to a wonderful man, I knew right from the get-go. Now, there's certain things I'm going to put up with, and there's certain things I'm not. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be the best partner I can be to you, but I have an opinion too, and I want to be equally heard too. And it works great. Well, which was one really good thing is that he had 3 sisters who were very strong-willed, business-type women, very professional women. And so he was used to that anyway. I'm not going to say being bossed around by him, but he was used to that. So that worked out well. But in all of this, in all of me sharing what I'm saying here, is that we cannot allow someone to just make us not even feel like we can share our opinion. That we can share opinion. We can tell our opinion. We should never be afraid of the person that we're choosing to spend our life with, and not be able to share what's on our heart, or be afraid of that person, or be afraid of hurting that person's feelings. But we need to be able to be honest and be able to share those things. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents, and I hope that helps somebody.
So here we go. We have a question from April. How do you help a friend who puts up with it and you fear for them?
Yes, been there. I've been there. I've had some friends that I've been very afraid for, and I was not that successful at it. I will say, because ultimately that person is going to do what if their eyes are not opened, they don't see it. When we might be able to see something that they cannot see or that they do not recognize. We all know that's true. People tell us things all the time that we don't see it that way. And when we're blinded by love or lust or whatever it might be, or the comfort of having someone, well, he's better than nobody, I don't want to be alone, or better than the last relationship I had, or he provides for me, he I mean, I can put up with his temper, because he does provide for me, or I need him because I've got kids, and my ex is not paying any child support, and at least he's doing that for me. There's a lot of fear and a lot of reasons why we put up with things that we should not put up with. And that's where my faith in God comes from, and is that we're not on our own. If we believe in God, we can trust that God is going to take care of us. And sometimes we have to let go of that control, and surrender and give it over. So for your friend, you just have to keep being there. You just have to never walk away from them. You can't ever give up on them or get frustrated with them. You just got to constantly be with them and listen. But yeah, sometimes it gets hard when it's the same old story. And then sometimes you have to say, okay, listen, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing a cycle. This is the same thing you told me 2 weeks ago, the same situation, and it's not any better. This is the same thing that y'all went through 3 months ago, and it's not any better. Are you sure you want to marry this person? Are you pointing out those things, but doing it in love and not judging? If you ever judge that person, they're going to turn away from you, and they're going to, you're not going to be there for them when they might need you the worst. You need to be there so that they can have someone that they can call in case of that, and always be available for them. I feel your pain, April. I truly do feel your pain. And if someone else here wants to give some advice, we'll really do appreciate it. But to me, I'm a loyal friend, and I want to be there for that person. They may not think that I am there in their mind, but in my heart, I know that I would do whatever I could to help get them out of that situation, provide a place for them to go. You come here, we'll take you, give you transportation, we'll fix your meals for you, we'll wash your clothes, we'll do whatever you need, whatever we can possibly do to help you get out of that situation and catch your breath and get on your feet and live the life that you're meant to live. As a relationship coach, my desire is that people live the very best possible life that they can live. I want people to be happy and content in their lives. And sometimes that means we have to make hard decisions for ourselves. And you know as well as I do, Jamie, that in recovery, you have to walk away from some people. And it can be family members sometimes that you have to choose to walk away. You can't go back to them because they were the ones that were influencing you, giving you your drugs. They were the ones that you were, I've heard of girls, they were, smoking weed with their, back in my day, it was doobies, but, boobies. They were doing it with their mom at 11 years old. So sometimes you cannot be with them anymore. You've got to walk away. You've got to find somewhere else to go. And so those of us who feel like we can be a support to those people who are going through that, set yourself up to be ready. Get that spare room ready. Get those things ready that you can take a person in the middle of the night if you have to. And be there for them, because that may be the only way they get out of the situation is they call you and say, can you pick me up? Or I'm out here on the road. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to talk about one that maybe people don't think is abuse, that I wasn't aware that was abuse. But I have experienced this, and it was probably one of the more harmful abuses that I experienced. And it is called avoidant abuse or emotional withholding.
Oh, yeah.
And it says that it's becoming increasingly more common and it comes with serious consequences. Emotional withholding or avoidant abuse is someone willingly withdrawing affection with the specific goal to hurt your feelings or control you. And this is also something that is in the narcissistic personality disorder, and it goes into the phase, because there are different phases of narcissistic abuse, and it goes into the phase of devaluing. Yeah. And so a person
breaking you down.
Signs say, they might ignore your attempts at conversation in person, via text, or over the phone, withholding affection. They won't touch you or hold your hand or pat you on the shoulder. And so the effects of withholding affection, it says it is similar to gaslighting, as it makes you feel shut out, unimportant, isolated, ignored, and disempowered. It is especially damaging because the victim often doesn't recognize it as a form of abuse. Instead, they believe they are not worthy of getting their needs and desires met. And this, for me, was the most toxic, worst abuse that I had been through, was being with a partner who would not give me attention, affection, withheld sex from me as a form of control, and withheld like complimenting me, but would up talk the waitress at the restaurant and how amazing she was. Would look at every other girl, you know what I mean, in like a lustful way right in front of me, but when it came to what I was wearing, they would just like ignore or maybe say something negative about it. And so like for like a whole year of this relationship, I walked around depressed, devastated.
Yes.
What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why
I'm so unlovable.
Yes. Why doesn't my partner like me? What am I doing wrong? Like, how can I fix it? I don't understand. It was so confusing, right? Like, what happened? They were so into me before. They would send me gifts and tell me how amazing I was, and I was the world, the star on top of the tree, right? And then all of a sudden, I am nothing, and withholding sex, which is, in a marriage relationship.
It's the intimacy that says, I love you, I care for you. Sex, you want to be tender with each other and loving. So I don't want to be that way with you, so I'm going to withhold it from you. And saying things that are very unkind around that topic. You're not as little as you used to be. You're not as little things like that can just deflate. Just totally deflate you. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct in talking about the emotional abuse and what all happens to you as a person that is on the receiving end of that. Not realizing that you are a victim because you feel like, I'm committed. I'm committed to this relationship. And so, I got to fix myself because obviously I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. I got to figure this out. And we do become depressed because we're like, can't sleep because we're trying to figure it out. We're scared. We're worried all the time, want to keep everything perfect. And you can't be yourself. You're nervous, afraid to say anything. And it's the most it absolutely will rob you of emotional and spiritual peace, mental rest, to feel like you're always fighting for that love. And that is absolutely not fair. It's not right. And for the person that is going through that, I'm going to tell you that and this is just from hindsight, this is from hindsight. I've learned this now. Don't allow yourself to be treated that way. And, it doesn't matter, they're wanting you to step up for yourself. They're testing you. They're trying to see if you're going to let them control you. Are you too scared? And are you going to just let this keep going on and letting them be in control? Or are you going to speak up for yourself and say, hey, I'm worth more than that? You chose me to compliment you. I can't compliment you when you're treating me like this. I can't be a partner for you that compliments who you are if you're treating me like this and making me feel so unworthy. I'm not unworthy. I'm a valuable creation. You're a valuable creation. And we got to get this stuff straight. Well, no matter what it takes, we need to get this stuff straight, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. So being a Christian woman, being raised in the Christian faith, I believe in commitment, no divorce, you stay together. But, I do believe that sometimes separation may be necessary for us to get ourselves on the right page. Because if you're staying together, it's not a good situation. Teaching parenting, we think, oh, the kids don't know. They don't notice. Kids know. If you're stressed out, they know you're stressed out. They know mom and dad are not getting along. They have so much fear in them. They're terrified that their family is going to be ripped apart. It would be better for them to be calm and in a peaceful situation than there to be such tension all the time. So I'm not saying, yeah, let's separate so we can get divorced. I'm saying let's separate for a set amount of time so we can both have a timeout, think about this, and come back together and realize who we actually have and how much I really do value and how I really should be treating you. Now, I will say there are times in our partnerships, and we know this, we're all going to go through financial trouble, work situations, got to work extra, illnesses, things like that are going to affect our relationship and affect our intimacy levels, the amount of time, quality time we get to spend together, and quantity. There's things that's going to happen. But there's no excuse for that, for those kind of, you can be apart from your partner, but for those reasons, not because you're ignoring your partner. It has to be for a legitimate reason that you both are understand mutually together and can work on that together. But standing up for yourself, whether you're male, female, whatever, and say, listen, I didn't join this relationship with you to be treated like I'm not worth anything, because I know that I am. I'm smart, I'm intelligent, and you're treating me like I'm not. And so and even though you may be afraid of that person, if it is a truly scary situation, then I do suggest that you not, how volatile your partner is. So I'm not wanting you to risk yourself in that situation. I'm wanting you to take care of this in the beginning, before it gets to that point. In the beginning, when you first notice that, how many times have we all said, well, there's this thing and that thing that I don't like, but I'm going to change him. As soon as we get together, change. And, once we get settled down and everything's, we're together, then it's all good. No, we can't look at it like that, because we can't change anybody. We are who we are. We have to want to change for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And can we get to this comment here? This is a very good friend of mine, Maria.
All right, Maria, how can you be open to yourself and enable yourself to be okay to move on, and be okay for the world to know that you are ready to move on? Love that. Mm-hmm. Young widow, honey, I feel you. That's a big surprise when you're a young widow. I certainly did not expect that either. My daughter, our daughter had just gotten married, and we were on the brink of our second half of our life together, and we had all these big plans. We were going to travel and do all these things, and bam, cancer came and took him from me. On top of that was my husband also ended up taking his own life, and I found him. I discovered him, and that was very hurtful. There was no note or anything, but I do feel like the reason was because he had not slept in 2 weeks. He was not in his right mind. He was in such great physical pain that he just couldn't stand it or couldn't bear it anymore. But for those of you who have experienced, you're the survivor of family members who committed suicide and taken their life, I feel for you in that area too, because people say cruel things and they don't understand the situation and they make such judgments. And it's a hard place to be in. And I will be honest with you, I'm an up person. I guess you can probably tell I'm pretty up, but that was the one time in my life that I really felt like I wasn't sure that I wanted to still be here without him, because I couldn't imagine being able to move on. I never imagined being able to be with anyone else. I never wanted to be with anyone else. He was my true love. And plus, my body didn't look as good as it did when it was 20, and I wasn't going to let another man see this body. Okay, I'm just going to say. So, just making a little joke there, but it is hard. Just in answer to your question, being able to move on and being okay with it when maybe other people don't think you should, and that can be difficult, because my daughter, when I did start a relationship with Jay, my husband now, my daughter and some other family members were not really supporting me in that. But it was because they love me so much, and they were so afraid I was rushing and I was getting into something that I shouldn't get into. And it was all out of love, and they were trying to help me open my eyes. But it turned out, we were together 2 years before we actually got married. And now they love him better than they love me, I think, more than they love me. But yes, it is very difficult to move on. Just focus on being who you are, discovering yourself. That's what I meant by saying that I discovered myself as a young widow, discovering myself and what I wanted to do. Like, I had always wanted to go back to school and finish my counseling degree. But being a preacher's wife, I was kind of the woman behind the man. So always supported him, and there was never time for me to do what I had wanted to do, which was to become a counselor. That's what I wanted to do before we got married. But there was never really any time for me. And he didn't really support that. That really wasn't, and it's not his fault. It's just how he felt. He did not really support for me to do that. He needed me. So after he passed away, that was once I got a hold of myself, I realized, you know what? It's time for me to it's my turn. It's my turn. My life's not over. I'm still here for a reason. I still have a lot of life to live. My grandmother didn't die till she was 104. So I'm not telling you how old I am. But I had a long way to know. I'm 63. I will tell you that I'm 63. I'm right here at retirement age, and everybody, my friends think, retire. I can't retire. I probably never will retire, because I get paid to talk, and who can beat that job, right? I love talking. But anyway, listening to definitely. But anyway, it's time for you to discover what you want to do. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to school. Yeah, I was working. Yeah, it was hard. I'm going to go back to school, finish my degree. It took me a long time to do it. Did it online, got my degree. I never in my life ever thought that I would end up teaching. No way. Never thought I would teach. And especially in this community, I really never thought that I would be doing this. I have one child who is basically perfect, not because of me. I just mean she was just an easy kid. She was just, easy. She low key, she didn't have this wild personality like mine. So when people found out I was going to be a parent educator, they were like, you don't know anything about parenting. Your kid's perfect, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing it, but just a lot of experience with people within the church life and others. But also just saying, that was the best thing that I did for myself, was to do that, and then to see where it took me. And now to be able to be working with all these children. I wanted a large family, and I was only able to have one child. I was able to have very many children, and now I have all these kids, that I just love so much. And I want you guys to live the best life that you can live. And I believe in you, and I believe you can recover, and I believe you can go for it. You can get it. You can do it. And so just keep doing it. Keep pressing on. Find out who you are. Be yourself. Get the education. Stop staying on your phone, wasting your brain cells on your phone. Learn something. Stimulate that intellect. Grow. And you'll discover things that are deep within you that God put in there for who you are to be. and you will blossom and you will bloom and you will live, just truly, truly live. And I hope I can be just an encouragement, to you and to your friend who, is a new widow. My heart goes out to you. I'll be thinking about you. And, it's okay. Sometimes we just have to move on and we have to wait. We have to be assured that the people that are not really for us right now, even if they're family members, that they love us. And when they see that we truly are happy, they will embrace that because that's what they want. They just love us and they're just afraid for us.
Yep. Absolutely. And I like this, what she says here. I can relate now. This year I want to do so much for our veterans, turning that, into a purpose to be able to like help others, since you do know what the struggle is, maybe even supporting wives, something like that.
And I'll share just a little bit about my husband and I. I've certainly, out of respect for my husband, my late husband, I'm not going to divulge all of our nasty secrets of our, times that we had marital unbliss. But there were times that we had that. There was some mental illness in the family, and there were some struggles with that. And, we, try to support each other with love as much as we could. But there were some things that we had to go through that were shocking at times. And I mean, I can talk with someone privately about that at some time if you like, if you need that, because but you cannot, you have to still take care of you when you're taking care of someone else that has mental illness, or depression, and we have to believe too. We have to understand that our brains are connected to our hearts. So what's going on in our brain with our dopamine and our cortisol and all of these chemicals that are going on in our brain, they are affecting our heart and our mouths and what comes out and how we feel. What's happening in our brain affects our feelings. So we may snap and be mad, or we may get depressed, or we may be low. But we need to. That's another way that we can say, hey, what's going on with my partner right now? Is there something physically going on or mentally going on? Let me give them a benefit of a doubt for a moment here before I jump to conclusions. So that's always something too, that and approaching it that way too, and say, is something going on? I'm not used to you acting like this. This is all of a sudden just come out of nowhere. And I want to support you, but I also want you to know that I'm not going to, be your punching bag now. I'm not your doormat. You don't wipe on me when you walk in the house. So, I'm here for you, and I love you, and I want us to see what's going on. And that right there will let that partner know, hey, I have to stop this if I want to keep her or him, right?
Absolutely. Setting those healthy boundaries, and what you were talking about with the dopamine and the cortisol, those are, the trauma bonding cycle, which is, man, has such an effect on your nervous system, like you don't even know. And then when you finally like break free from it and you go, no contact with this person, like it's like it takes a minute, but everything calms down.
Yeah. Everything. When you remove those things that are affecting that serotonin levels and things like that. And let me just say here, I'm not a psychiatrist, I don't prescribe medication, but I believe in medication. I believe in medication. If you need it, it's okay. You can take it. Try it out, see if it's going to help you. I'm not going to ever say anything wrong about that. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge anybody for anything. I've been through my own things. I've had some harsh judgments in my life where people made some assumptions about me that were absolutely not true. They were not right. They were false. And they spread those lies about me that were not right, that were not true. And I had to pull myself up and walk through it anyway, and see those people that were believing things about me that were absolutely a lie. But I had to live with integrity. I had to pick myself up. And when they thought I didn't have integrity, I had to live with integrity and wait years and years and years for truth to come out. And I'm living in my truth. I'm living in my truth. And, God is blessing me. He is shining down upon me. And I believe that it's sometimes because of the trials, that we go through. All of us, I love to tell my kids out there that, there are mountains, but there's a valley. A valley is what makes the mountains. Mm-hmm. We have to go through the valley to get to the other mountain. So we're all going to go through that. And we should not be surprised when those times come for us, because we are there. We do have to walk through there, but we have a shepherd who guides us. And I like to talk about my parents and tell them that, we're not there to open up a can of whoop on our kids. Okay. We are to lead them and guide them lovingly, like a shepherd would his sheep. Modern day shepherds, we have modern day shepherds, and, sheep are, they'll go and eat dirt, or they'll drink nasty sewage water. They don't know any better, and they need a guide. They need someone to take care of them and to protect them from harm. And that's what we need to be as parents, a leader and a guide and a shepherd. So, y'all, I have so much in this brain right here to tell y'all that sorry.
No, that's good. It's all good stuff. We have a few minutes left, so let's talk about what I want to talk about, and that is healthy sex.
Oh, I knew you were going to get to that. What do you want to know, Jamie? Okay, when you're 63, you can still function. Is that what you want to know? It can still be fun.
Look, I'm 43, and I'm more on. I feel like I got more of a sex drive than I ever have my whole entire life.
Yeah. Right.
Got a partner to share it with.
Some of my older friends tell me, you just wait. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. And I say, I really do not see that happening. I really do not see that happening, because sex is more than just, wanting to get it on, wanting to, jump on each other. It's more than that. It's created that those desires are more than just lust. Those desires come from, I can just be sitting next to my husband who is bald-headed now, and maybe some of the pecs have fallen a little bit lower. I like to tease that if I didn't wear my spandex and my support bras and stuff, I would look like an African Aborigine, that's nursing a baby while she's weaving a basket, that kind of thing. So, no, things are not, they don't look as good anymore, but luckily you lose a little bit of your vision. So, and if you keep the lights off, that works well too. But that does not mean that you don't still desire, you still desire. And we could just be having a conversation, and he could just say something, and the way that he says it, I'm like, you just made me hot. I mean, golly. Or I'll tell him, I go, you know what? You need to meet me back there. Okay. Now, or texting each other things throughout the days. I need you. Like, come on. I need you, just building how to keep that romance alive, how to keep that passion going, is letting each other know, I do desire you. I still desire you. You're still so gorgeous to me. Or you're still so handsome to me. And that ignites you. And having healthy thoughts, you can't have your best experience with your partner if you're thinking about somebody else while you're with your partner. Okay. Even if it's like Kevin Costner or somebody like that, no, you've got to be thinking about your partner, and not only what your partner, you've got to think about what your partner is to you, the life that you have together, and share in that. And what you want to be who you are with your partner, and love your partner, not just get. Does that make sense? Not just get, but to give as well. And if you need to take a pill, take a pill. It's okay, guys. If you need it, take a pill for blood pressure or whatever it is as you get older. That's okay too. You can still, do the things that your man loves, as far as, dressing how they want you to dress, or whatever. Just keeping it spicy, keeping it exciting. I will tell you, with my late husband, I can't believe I'm going to share this live, on live, but Anyway, so he threw me this wonderful 40th birthday party. And I mean, it was awesome. It was cowgirl thing because I'm a cowgirl. I ride horses, have cowgirl friends. And so, I was dressed up with my little blue jeans short skirt and my cowgirl hat and all that. So afterwards, I just wanted to reward him, because he had really been sweet and thrown me this huge party. And so I decided to do a little rendition of the country singer. I can't even think who she was now. I can't think right then. Anyway, Shania Twain. I was going to do a little Shania Twain. So at the end of our bed, at the end of our bed was a hope chest. So I put the music on and we were going to bed, and I came out in my little bandana, little bikini set, red bandana bikini set, jumped up on the seat on the hope chest to do my dance. The ceiling fan was on, and I knocked myself in the head, and I knocked myself out. Like I literally fell out.
No.
So my husband, I wake up to him going, honey, honey, honey. And then when I came to, he said, you don't have to do all that, honey. I love you just like you. You don't have to do all that performance stuff. Anyway, I've had quite a little mishaps like that. But, doing things that are fun for each other. One time I got naked in the back of the van when we went to pick up a pizza. It almost gave him a heart attack because he was afraid we were going to get in the paper if we got pulled over, and he was a preacher. So that, he wasn't for that. He was real scared. But, just doing things like that to show, hey, I love you. You turn me on. I want to be with you. There's nobody else for me but you. And being faithful really, really, really will ignite that passion, because if you're faithful and they know it, they don't have to have in their mind wondering if you've been fooling around with somebody else. Right. So is there anything else, Jamie? I mean, I'm just going along the top.
I mean, I want to encourage the women that like to have the confidence and the security in yourself to be able to know like what you need, right? Because like for me, I went through years. Yes, I went through years of orgasmless sex.
Oh,
years and years and years.
No.
I was too like embarrassed or shy or whatever, afraid to be able to tell my partner like, hey, like this is what I need. Like I need toys. I need this. Like I need, you know what I mean? Like the actual specifics of like what I need. Like I need to be on top, and I need to be like this, and you know what I mean, and I really like to get, you know what I mean, whatever, whatever it is that that makes you, as the woman or as the man, whatever, like that works for you. Like don't be scared to do that, to be able to say like, hey, this is what I need, like, because it's not a bad on them. Like, oh, sorry, you don't, it's not going to work unless I got my toy.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. And, if anybody is a little bit sensitive about this topic, feel free to log off, because I certainly don't want to offend anyone, definitely. But no, both people should be satisfied. There are going to be times when you say, you know what, you can have freebie tonight, and offer that to your partner and say, I don't necessarily need that tonight, but let me do that for you. My husband's done that for me when I'm like, I need you. And he's like, okay, yeah, you got me. Anytime you want me, I'm right here. And that encouragement that you got me. And then, like you said, to say, don't be shy. I mean, they love it anyway. If you'll talk and just say, okay, keep doing that right there. Just keep doing that. That's perfect. That's what I want right there. That is perfect. And that is very encouraging and exciting and a turn on. So to let them know, they want to know to make sure they're doing it right, or if it's not right, say, oh, you don't have to say, ow, but you can just say a little more to the other, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, or, a little bit. Okay. So yes, I'm in wholehearted agreement with you, Jamie, that communication is the key to a healthy sex life. And, sometimes, work schedules, we have to be sensitive to each other too, as well, because there may be times that, a person's, there's something going on that's not right. Like I had a UTI a while back, and, it was a difficult time. I had to get that cleared up. And then, Then my husband was going through some blood pressure problems, and we found out that was what it was. So now, if I'm telling him, I'm going to be needing you in a few days, so start taking those pills, you do have your prescription filled, right? And that's actually sexy talk, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Got your prescription filled? Do I need to go pick it up for you, sweetheart? Use things in your refrigerator, whatever, peanut butter, chocolate syrup, whatever you want to do, whatever. Because I will tell you right now, if you will open up the center of the Bible and you will go to the Song of Solomon, there is some really riveting sexual things in that Bible. So this all started with God. Okay. This all started with God. He saw that man was lonely and needed a partner. So he created one. So do you know where the word woman came from? When God created the woman and said, I've made her for you, he looked at her and he said, whoa, man, because he was called man. And so that's how a woman came to be.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's just a corny joke. But no, you're not doing anything wrong when you don't feel guilt. You don't feel shame. A lot of times, parents are like, I remember my mom telling me that nice boys did not kiss with their mouth open. Well, the very first kiss that I got from my preacher, fiance date was an open mouth kiss. And I thought, hallelujah. I was so excited. I was like, well, my mama must be missing out, or she's just lying to me. But so I was really excited about that. So, no, honey, my husband and I, we were virgins, but we did it 7 times on the first night. On the first night of the honeymoon. So, yes. I don't even know what else to say. You're getting me on a topic that we need. I'm glad you're bringing this up at the end.
Yes.
So that I don't embarrass myself or anyone else. But just be healthy. Just be healthy all the way around in every area, spiritually, sexually, physically, mentally, creatively, all the different ways. Do whatever you can to take care of yourself. Be your best person for yourself, and then you can be the partner that you're wanting to be. Treat your partner with respect, and you will be treated with respect in return. If, however, you are in a relationship that is an abusive relationship, and you know it, but you're just refusing to deal with it, you need to get some help. You need to seek some outside help. Don't keep putting up with it, because you're more valuable than that. Stand up for yourself, and take care of yourself, and reach out. And we are here for you. We are here for you. We really are. It breaks my heart when I have found out about people who were hurting and I did not recognize the signs. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to those people who I did not recognize those signs, and I did not say, come on, I've got you. I've got you. Now, I have gone to bat. I've gone to bat for some of my friends who their partners have treated them wrong in my presence, in my home, and I have shut them down and said, you will not treat my friend like that in my home. Because this is my home, and you're not going to disrespect my home or my friend by treating her like that. So either you can go on and leave, or you can straighten up. So I'm a softie, but when I need to get tough, I can be tough, and you need to be tough too.
Yes. And ladies, I just want to, speak to the ladies on this. You do not deserve to be in a abusive relationship. Abuse is not love, no matter how you look at it. That person has a mental illness, and you cannot fix it.
Right.
So, it is hard to leave. There's some amazing resources out there. It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I know that Project Safe is a amazing resource. They can help you if you need to move and you need an apartment, where you know what I mean, real fast. They will get you somewhere. You need rent, you need groceries, you need a cell phone, you need counselors, support groups, clothing, stuff for your children. Project Safe is amazing. There are also
Bright Paths, also, which is Prevent Child Abuse Athens, but they're doing business as Bright Paths. We have all those resources there that point you to anything that you need. So there's help for you. There is help for you in many places. Yeah, and we can get that information to you. Whatever you need to know, whatever you need, just contact Jamie, and we'll make sure you get to the right people. We'll make sure we get you some help, and we'll make sure you're safe and make sure your kids are taken care of. And we're a community. We're a community of people who are healing. We're all healing from something, right? We're all healing from something. So yeah, don't suffer alone. Don't put up with things that you shouldn't put up with. Value yourself and live your best life.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Jamie, thank you so much for having me on and taking a chance on me. I really, really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. First time I met you, I fell slap in love with you. You're just precious, precious to me, and I just love what God is doing through you and the people that through being honest about your story and sharing the raw truth about things. You're open and you're honest and you don't mind sharing that because you know that you're reaching someone that needs to hear that story. And so if there are any preachers' wives out there, former preachers' wives, people in ministry, parents who are struggling with their kids, or if you're just struggling in any relationship with your coworkers, with your neighbors, with your friends, with your partners, I'm not an expert, but I might not know the answer, but I'll find it out for you. I'll do the research and I'll find it out for you. So I'm here for you as well. And I know Jamie has my information if you would like to contact me as well.
Yes, yes. And we're going to have you on again, Lynn. We're going to do, because we only got through two of the slices on the power and control wheel. There's like 10. Yeah. So we yes.
I told you I
talk a lot. No, this is good. This is good. So we're going to set some more stuff up. And so you guys, you are going to see Lynn again on this platform. And we'll have to bring you on with me and Sonia as well, and some of the other creators in the creator group that I'm in. So good information. And so
I just want to say that my husband wishes that I could get paid by the word, because then he would never have to work again. That's what he says. Oh, yes. He's a good
guy. All right. Awesome. Well, you guys, we are going to log off here. You guys have an amazing night. Make sure if you do need any help, feel free to privately message me. I'm going to actually write my email here in the chat. That way, if anybody needs any private messaging about what getting out of a abusive relationship or needing help in recovery, make sure that you guys reach out and we can get you some resources and get you to the right place. So
thank you for having me as your guest. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for coming on.